status for who you are in the society. And we're saying that if it can happen to some of even high-level women, you can imagine what's happening to our girls and women back at our constituencies and in our counties. And we're saying that we are committed to look at all aspects of how we can end gender-based violence.
Now, what we need to do as members of parliament is we need to get very innovative. We know there is constraint in budget. We also know that there is need. So we must look for ways in which we can come up with shelter houses, no matter in whatever form, so that our defiled children or our defiled girls or victims of gender-based violence can find refuge when they need it. Because sometimes it just helps to be away from that scene where there was violence emitted on you. That is what might determine whether you're going to live to see another day or not. So as parliamentarians, we've said we are going to look for innovative ways, even if there's a constraint in budget, to ensure that we have safe houses for people or victims of gender-based violence. And we know that gender-based violence transcends all classes. Some of the elite people in the so-called upper class, experience a lot of gender-based violence, but they keep quiet. Now, if they do experience that, like the honorable member said, what about the people in the more vulnerable situations? So we must come out as parliamentarians. Apart from just legislating, we must offer practical solutions to victims of gender-based violence, and we've committed to do that.
Still on the gender-based violence in our counties, especially Northeastern, there's a stigma around it. And last week I was in Garissa, where there was the 16 days of activism. People are trying to come up, people are trying to get against the vice. So if we can at least talk to the community leaders or religious leaders to help us also in the fight against violence against girls and women, it will be of a great help. And the women of Kenya, doesn't matter where we come from, where the religion is, we are fighting against this vice and we are united as Kenyans. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We are here tonight to unite on the gender-based violence. I am dealing with a case of a 13-year-old girl, class 6 student who was raped by someone, and we are getting a scenario whereby we cannot proceed with the case because of the police and so many people involved. The community is also a factor whereby the maslaha system is what is really making us delay. So I'm asking the community in general, at least to come up to actually discourage the maslaha system. When it comes to GBV, it has no religion, it has no culture. The person who commits and rapes the innocent children and girls should be brought to book, and I think should take responsibility of the action. Thank you so much.
I'm here today, and I'm happy today to be part of the parliamentarians and the UN Women and all the people who are supporting the gender-based violence eradication in Kenya. Unite is this year's theme, and I think that theme is really helping us because it is empowering the girl child, it's empowering also the boy child who is also suffering from gender-based violence to realize that they need to fight against this kind of violence. We need to get out of this kind of violence. Many of us have experienced this gender-based violence. I'm a victim of that, and from my experiences, I believe many other people have come out to realize that they need to talk about it, they need to get out of it, and that has really helped. Looking at where we are today as a country, I think we've made progress. Many laws and legislations have been passed in previous parliaments. We look forward in this coming parliament for more legislation to be brought in to help in eradicating this gender-based violence. I'm happy that FGM, which was something that used to be a main issue talked about in many years, 10 years ago, today is not much of a big discussion, but it's still there. So all those related together with gender-based violence are things that we can eradicate. So the 16 days of activism, in my view, is to raise awareness and to make everybody realize that they need to get out of it. The cultural practices that we had, need to get out, because we are now in the 21st century, more informed society. And I'm happy that our girl child is a more educated girl child than they were before. So going forward, we hope that by 2026, when Kenya has said they are going to eradicate the gender-based violence, we will achieve that. And I think together with the other women parliamentarians in parliament and the men who have come out to support us, we together will walk this journey to ensure that we eradicate this gender-based violence.
Together as parliamentarians, we have had a meeting this morning as KEWOPA, Kenya Parliamentary Women, and the UN Women, and our main agenda was even to remember the 16 days of activism. And as I represent the Embu people, Matters Women Rep, I am here to confirm that it's true gender-based violence in Embu is real. And we have agreed that together with men, we are going to champion together to end the gender-based violence at FGM. Right now, FGM is number 4 in FGM. So the way we have agreed this morning that we are going to champion together the fight against gender-based violence. And our major issue is to know that when the woman and the girl is affected, the whole community is affected, but that does not mean the man is not affected too. So even as we fight gender-based violence against women and girls, we are also concerned about the men, the boy child, who is also suffering in silence. So we have agreed with our men counterparts in parliament that they are going to support this initiative so that together we can be able to win this fight. Over the weekend, there was such a case in Embu where one of the women candidates during the last year, this year's general election, she was taken to the cells together with a baby girl child who is under 2 months old. And it took the initiative of the county women rep to go and secure freedom. So the fight is still on.